When a woman believes a life has no value,
It didn't mean anything bad.
it's best to stay away.
It was okay. Murder became okay.
A drug binge takes two young women
They had 4 living witnesses to deal with.
to the brink of humanity.
There was no stopping.
A young wife finds divorce more shameful than murder.
There was an extreme amount of overkill.
How much?
And greed drives a gangster's wife to turn on her own.
Don't get any money out of dead people.
These deadly women all commit senseless slayings. Lexington, Kentucky, the horse capital of the world. A long way from the million-dollar studs, the city's back streets are the haunt of Tina Powell and LaFonda Foster.
Need more money.
They both went hand in hand when it came to carousing, doing whatever they could to get money to either drink or do drugs or both. Tina did do some strip dancing, and both would attempt to turn prostitution deals.
No one can understand what comes over the pair of them on April 23rd, 1986, at the home of Carlos and Virginia Kearns, their regular drinking partners.
They were all alcoholics, all people who were sort of from the seamier side of life.
You got some money?
Their older friends are easy targets.
You got something. You gotta give me some.
What you gonna give me for it?
I know how much you like that bath I gave you. If you give me some money, though, you give me some money and I'll give you.
The women need cash for drugs,
Carlos, I need the money now.
but are not getting any.
You need to give me the money.
I don't think we got no money, sweetheart.
Carlos, I need
They
the
take
money.
matters into their own hands.
You lied to me!
No, I'm not.
Carlos, give me the money, all right? Finally!
All I got is a social security check. I'd have to go somewhere to cash it.
All right, let's go cash it then. You're all coming, we're all gonna go cash it, all right? Come on!
High on drugs and alcohol,
Drugs, hurry up!
the victims go along to save their skins.
The reputation of Faye Foster was rather formidable.
Tina, over there.
I expect that fear had a lot to play with not trying to resist.
We're gonna go in and cash this check, okay? Y'all stay in here, or else I'll kill you.
She was a very mean woman.
Can you cash that, please?
Carlos needs to sign the check personally,
I'm afraid I can't.
Why not? It's only $50.
but when they get to the store, for some reason, the women leave him in the car.
Whatever, if you give us 25.
I'm sorry, can't do it. I don't have the authorization.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Here, Roger, when you get out.
Just this morning.
Got any money?
Frustrated, the women's crazy solution
Come on, you're coming with us.
is to take a fifth hostage. An old friend, Roger Keene.
Hey, Theo, how you doing? All right? Carlos.
All right.
It's too crowded
sort of desperate to get money. And apparently as the day and the night wore on, they got more and more desperate.
They have 5 hostages with hardly a dollar between them.
Roger, I thought you said you had some money.
I said it wasn't much.
We have to have money. Damn it, I don't believe none of you have any money.
The drug addict's frustration
All right, get out now.
turns to fury.
Now! Come on! Out of the car now! Come on!
These poor people were just sort of drunk out of their minds and being sort of led to slaughter.
Get up! Get down on the ground! Face first! Down! Get down!
LaFonda Foster and Tina Powell now do something totally senseless.
Tina Powell did all of the stabbing with this rather unique configured hunting knife.
The blows leave the hostages wounded, but not fatally. LaFonda Faye's gun also has little effect.
The .22 caliber revolver was what we would call a Saturday night special, probably obtainable for $5 to $10 on the street. The ammunition was a mishmash of ammunition.
She ain't moving.
Inept is the best word I can come up with.
It's Tina who finally takes the first life. 59-year-old Trudy Harrell's throat is cut.
It's unclear to me why LaFonda and Tina killed her. I think they only did it because they wanted to. It looked like fun, and it was something they had never done before.
With one woman dead, a night of horror on the streets of Lexington is only just beginning.
Once they killed their first victim, they had 4 living witnesses to deal with. There was no stopping.
April 23rd, 1986.
I need some 22s or 38s.
Drug addicts LaFonda Foster
Sorry, there's no land.
and Tina Powell are desperate for more ammunition.
Well,
The women are on a murder spree. They've killed one person and have taken 4 other people hostage.
The drugs and alcohol probably made it easier for LaFonda and Tina to kill. But the foundation that led them to the desire to kill had been there for years.
In a back street of Lexington, Kentucky, Virginia Kearns becomes their second victim. Her husband, Carlos, powerless to save her. The city has never known a night like this.
It was kind of crazy that night. Bodies just kept showing up fairly close to each other. The police, for a while, couldn't figure out what was going on. It was kind of like, you're kidding, not another body.
2 women are dead, and the night will go from bad to worse.
We found the body of Roger Keene underneath the car. And we found the body of Ted Sweet leaned up to the back of the car. You could see the gunshot wounds. You could also tell that he had been run over by the car.
Their 5th and final victim Carlos Kearns, is shot, stabbed, and left to die in a blazing inferno.
None of those people needed to die. Those people were harmless.
You girls all right?
Yeah, we're fine. We were just fighting. Is there a bathroom? Somewhere we can
Lexington's
clean up?
worst mass murder in history doesn't remain a mystery for long. The two women choose a nearby public hospital to clean up.
I can't believe there's so much blood. No, it's right in my arms.
They were just saturated in blood. In fact, the blood had identifying factors from all the victims on it.
Whether it is the drugs or stupidity, LaFonda Faye Foster and Tina Powell make the prosecutor's job easy.
Gross.
The nursing staff there at the hospital knew something had to be wrong and notified the police.
Within minutes of arriving, the two women are arrested. In 1987, Tina Powell is found guilty of 5 counts of murder and sentenced to life in prison. She's eligible for parole in 2021. LaFonda Faye Foster is convicted of 5 counts of first-degree murder and receives the death penalty. Granted a retrial in 1991, she pleads guilty, avoids execution, and is now serving a life sentence.
Still the largest mass murder in Lexington history. It wasn't a crime of hatred, it wasn't a crime of anger or passion, it was just they were really drunk and they weren't getting what they wanted.
LaFonda and Tina were able to kill in a heartless manner and had no remorse for what they did because they were sociopaths. They had no empathy for any other human being. When they met and joined forces, they became deadly women.
The quest for perfection can be difficult.
She thought she should be with the Anointed One.
That's great.
Hard to achieve and full of disappointment.
It ended up something that was ultimately very, very dangerous.
In the late 1970s, in the town of Olathe, Kansas,
After the resurrection,
love
beside
blossoms.
which sea?
Sea of Tiberias.
That is correct.
David Harmon meets Melinda Lambert.
Now, whoever answers the following question correctly will be the new
They met at Bible camp, where David was a really athletic, big, smart boy. He was a Bible quiz champion.
Pilate offered to release one prisoner. Which
He was really, really sought after. He was a catch there.
be released? Joseph, I think you go first.
It was Annas.
Her father was this major religious figure in the evangelical church.
I think it's Barabbas.
Congratulations! You are the new Nazarene Bible champion.
Their community has high expectations of the promising couple who marry young.
Oh, hey.
At the time, function of those in the church and on this earth is to live their lives achieving a state of perfection that Jesus achieved.
What?
Honey, it's fantastic.
But even a golden couple can lose their shine.
Keep making some more of those. They're gonna be gone.
Obviously, a state of perfection is a hard thing to achieve, and even the attempt can cause certain problems along the way.
Yes, 3 p.m. will be fine.
Into their pious world walks temptation.
Yes, we'll see
Star
you.
University student
Bye.
Mark Mangelsdorf.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Mark. I'm the student body president.
What can I do for you, Mark?
Well,
He was considered to be this superstar there at the university. He's a really smart kid. He's president of the student body. He was a handsome guy.
Tomorrow at 10?
10 a.m. works for me.
Melinda had a friendliness that seemed fuel-injected.
I hear you've got quite a lineup this year.
It's gonna be the best one yet. Will you be coming?
I wouldn't miss it.
She'd lean in close, she'd giggle at what you said, she'd put her arm on your forearm when you talked. And he was kind of smitten by her.
Married Melinda won't break her sacred vows. But she does want Mark close by.
Melinda introduced Mark to David, and they became a trio of close friends.
Bless us, O Lord, for these your gifts, which we are about to receive.
This relationship allowed Melinda to have innocent time with Mark, with no one suspecting how she deeply felt for him.
How's the response to Revival Week?
Oh, incredible. The dean's...
But secret desires take a toll on her marriage.
It's great.
What Melinda got in her husband David wasn't what she wanted.
I just can't believe that I would promote someone who's been there for 2 months when I've been there for 2 years.
It really sucks, man. Yeah.
She thought she should be with the anointed one.
Who won the game?
I did, I think.
David wasn't delivering.
Melinda and Mark don't have an adulterous affair. They start something more dangerous,
Hey, Mark, still off the hockey tonight?
Yeah, sure thing.
an obsession.
Her intentions were to be as close to Mark for as long as she could. What form this would take, I don't think even she knew at the time.
Melinda's desire is to be with Mark.
Can't do this anymore. Not while David is my husband.
But it's an unforgivable sin.
What if you weren't married anymore?
You know divorce isn't an option.
If you were heavily involved in the church, a divorce was very much frowned upon, would be a gross understatement.
We have to do something. I love you.
I love you too.
There is only one saving grace.
If David was to... If he died, then we could be together.
You've got all that pressure to not show any sort of faults or any kind of sin. As twisted as it sounds, it's a lot better to be the widow Harmon than to be the divorcee Harmon.
For Melinda's holiness, David must go. (1982) in Olathe, Kansas. 25-year-old Melinda Harmon is unsatisfied with her husband, David. The preacher's daughter has strong desires for Star University student Mark Mangelsdorf.
Melinda saw in Mark sort of a way out or a way toward a life that she had originally wanted. David stood in the way.
Divorce is a sin, according to Melinda's church. She plans for something more acceptable: becoming a widow.
Some women see divorce as a sin, but murder is okay.
"22-year-old Mark is willing to kill David and make it look like a home invasion.
David Harmon never saw his assailant, never woke up, and didn't know what was going on.
He bludgeoned David. 7 or 8 blows from a crowbar.
There was an extreme amount of overkill.
His head was crushed, and the eyeball, her husband's eyeball, popped out of his head and rolled along the floor. About an hour later, Melinda, with only a light bruise on her cheek, went running to neighbors. She told the neighbors that 2 black men had broken into her apartment, beat David to death, and knocked her unconscious.
They said they wanted the keys to David's bank. That's all I heard before they hit me.
And the intruders, how many were there?
2.
It was a very, very circumstantial case. It was what I used to call an eyebrow raiser.
And they were both black men?
Yes, that's right.
When you hear the evidence, you kind of think, wow, that kind of stinks. But, you know, an eyebrow raiser won't get you past proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
My friend's here. Can I go?
People began to talk. They began to talk about the frayed edges of Melinda and David's marriage. They began to talk about the strange closeness of Mark and Melinda.
With suspicion swirling around them, Melinda and Mark can't risk being together.
The last time they spoke was at the funeral.
Their crime of passion drives them apart forever.
I think Mark and Melinda were so clouded by their feelings for each other, they didn't think this murder out well. They didn't realize that after it was done, they really wouldn't be able to be together in that small town.
Melinda and Mark marry and raise families with different spouses.
She, the wife of a successful cosmetic dentist and the mom of 2 beautiful kids, and Mark on to Harvard Business School. This couple who plotted and executed a murder that defies description were able to have such successes in their lives and careers.
In 2002, prosecuting attorney Paul Morrison is asked to reopen the cold case. With no new evidence, it is a stab in the dark.
The Olathe Police Department met with our office and decided that we were going to send a team to talk to Melinda Harmonraisch and just hit her up cold.
Can I get you tea?
I've been reading through your statements. I need to ask you some questions.
When the detective arrives, he finds Melinda willing to talk.
Did you lie then? Did Mark kill your husband?
Her story changes.
You need to find yourself on the right side of this investigation.
She points the finger at her former lover.
All I saw was the shadowy figure of a man.
She starts telling the tale, and she talks about the guy as opposed to the guys.
I knew in my heart it was Mark.
And she had the sense that this man was Mark. Okay. The 2 black guys were suddenly off the hook.
Their 20-year secret is finally out.
She turned on him, and I think that's why Mangelsdorf eventually pled, because he knew that she was going to testify against him, and he knew that she was going to talk about his role in this.
Mark Mangelsdorf pleads guilty to second-degree murder and is sentenced to 10 to 20 years. In 2005, Melinda is found guilty of first-degree murder for agreeing to testify against Mark. It is reduced to murder too. She also receives 10 to 20 years in a Kansas prison. Melinda strives for a perfect life before her God and her community until a new man comes along. In the end, she's left with nothing.
You know, they're not thugs, they're not career criminals, they're not violent offenders. They're the kind of people that, before this happened, never in your wildest dreams suspect of being capable of killing somebody. But it happened. It's a very, very unnerving thing.
Some women know what they want from an early age.
Do it.
To live the life of a gangster.
This is where the greed came in.
I am hope.
Jealousy and ego.
But it is a road paved with misery.
She was the toxic influence. In the end, it got them all killed.
In the late 1990s, the city of Melbourne, Australia, is gripped in a bloody gangland war. Before it's over, some 30 gangsters will be gunned down on suburban streets. Crime matriarch Judy Moran's family is at the heart of the blood battle. Million-dollar drug dealers with mortal enemies.
They were mixed up in shootings, robberies, bashings. They're just disgraceful pieces of humanity.
The first to fall is Judy's oldest son, Mark. Shot dead in cold blood.
Through all this violence, Judy underestimated the other side. She was continually egging the boys on. You can deal with these guys. She always thought the Morans would somehow triumph.
But 3 years later, second son Jason is killed.
This was Judy's world, a world where violence was king.
Oh, could we deal with my darling?
Good afternoon.
Judy was born into crime. Her father's a thief, and he passes on his family values.
It's just over there.
Judy was a champion shoplifter. She would walk out wearing 4 coats or several yards of silk tucked under your dress. She learnt to steal the best. Only the best for Judy.
I didn't fit.
Thank you.
Judy was raised on mean streets that all had to do with her being attracted to bad boys.
When it's time for Judy to spread her wings, she falls head over heels for another hustler and thief, Lewis Moran.
She enjoyed being the girlfriend of a thief more than she enjoyed the normal life. She relished it.
Champagne to celebrate? Yeah, champagne sounds perfect.
You look like you've had a win.
Together, they set out to make their mark, doing what they know best, fleecing the unsuspecting.
For the lady.
Thank you.
That'd be great.
Judy used to be able to distract attention, position a person.
Oh.
Cheers.
Lewis, who was an expert pickpocket, would dip the bloke, as it's called, and they'd be none the wiser.
Better get back to my friend.
Oh, okay then.
They managed to subsist on that sort of thing for quite a while.
Yeah, Adam's like.
In the 1990s, the Morans hit the jackpot. Illegal drugs.
Suddenly money was flowing like never before. She started to see herself as almost criminal royalty.
But it is a deadly business. After losing 2 sons, Judy loses her husband to gang wars.
Mrs. Moran?
By now, she is a criminal celebrity.
I am a wife with no husband and a mother with no children. How the hell do you think I feel? Oh, Mrs. Moran? Mrs. Moran?
It gave her a chance to have interviews, and it gave her a chance to flaunt around like an old tart.
Judy loses more than her family.
So, are you going to help me find the money or not?
She loses her income.
Lewis owned property. He owned land, lots of it.
When you get used to living this life of luxury without working for it, then you start to lose relativity, perspective on where you are, and she certainly did.
There's got to be millions stashed away somewhere.
She really thought that she was entitled to all this.
Can't just evaporate, can it?
So where else do you want me to look?
I suggest that you look at his brother, Tuppence. He never
But criminals don't leave their money in the bank.
money.
Your choice, Mrs. Moran. Thank you.
Judy is convinced Lewis has hidden his drug fortune around town.
Had enough of your behavior, Judy.
And that his brother, Des Tuppence Moran, knows where it is.
You're not entitled to anything, Judy.
I am owed.
She perceived that he had the key to all the money. And she thought that there should be many, many millions of money still around.
To placate her, Des offers Judy financial help.
Out of respect for my brother, I will give you an allowance.
How much?
4,000 a month.
With respect, that's not nearly enough.
Well, that's all you're going to
The
get.
gangster
No more,
queen is
no less.
livid.
We'll see about that.
This is where the greed came in, and jealousy and ego, and why should I be left like this?
The grieving matriarch will become a murderer. Melbourne, Australia, in 2009.
There's got to be millions stashed away somewhere.
Crime matriarch Judy Moran has lost everything.
How the hell do you think I feel?
Her family is murdered. And now she's relying on handouts from brother-in-law Tuppence Moran.
She was being paid $4,000 per month.
I am owed.
It's not enough for this gangster queen.
Nuts, I've got a favour to ask you, and it could be worth millions to you.
I'm listening.
Tuppence.
Judy decides there should be one more dead Moran.
The problem is he won't give it up.
She hires help. A shooter named Nuts.
So now, the only way that we can get that money is to get rid of the man.
Judy was in a world that killing was an acceptable behavior.
Yeah?
I'm guessing she was probably upset and angry at her losses. And murder was simply not that difficult for her.
Okay. Now here's to it.
What about Indian? Is Indian okay?
It will look like just another Gangland hit.
Hey, Mick, you drive, okay?
Sure, there's no one.
The problem was that Des had drunk about 10 pots of beer, and he didn't want to lose his license, so he got his mate to actually drive the car. Nuts strides up thinking the driver must be Des and pings one shot through the windscreen. Miraculously, it lodges in the steering wheel. He goes to fire again, but now the gun jams.
You all right, mate? Yeah. Huh?
Des Moran lives.
Jude, we're in.
Judy doesn't get her money. Time for Plan B. Three months later, at a Melbourne coffee shop,
Here's the bastard.
Judy and her hitmen try again in broad daylight.
I can't imagine why she would do it, because you don't get any money out of dead people.
Des pays for his last meal as two strangely disguised assassins move in.
Nuts' is not going to mess this up a second time. He goes and puts 4 into Des on the ground and kills him outright.
It's time for Judy's greatest performance, her alibi.
Not another Miranda.
This is a way she wanted to portray herself to people to get their sympathy and, oh, poor Judy again.
It should have been me.
She almost thought it was another episode of a crime show, that the credits would roll and she would get off scot-free.
Oh, no.
She was really quite delusional.
Oh.
But it's one performance too many for the police. They search her house.
They found the wig, the balaclava, the wind cheater Nuts was wearing, everything. It's like they'd packaged up all the evidence and said, here you are. We don't want to get away with this.
The final Moran episode becomes an open and shut case of murder. The gunman, Nuts, is sentenced to 26 years. And so is the 66-year-old gangster queen, Judy Moran, in August 2011. Judy survived the Melbourne Gangland Wars, but not her own greed. She may never know freedom again.
She may die in jail, which would be a crushing blow to her. Imagine wearing the same outfit every day. That is death for Judy.
She's fallen for the 3-card trick: envy, hatred, and jealousy.
These deadly women were willing to kill for their own comfort. High on drugs, LaFonda Foster and Tina Powell murdered 5 friends. Melinda Harmonraisch felt divorce was taboo, but murder was allowed. And Judy Moran killed the one man who could save her. They all pushed boundaries and shattered lives with their senseless slayings.